song comes from Hawaii. And Hawaii is part of the United States of America. I'm going to show you a special instrument from Hawaii. But I'm going to show you this song again. Here we go. Pearly shells from the ocean, shining in the sun, covering the sand. When I see them, my heart tells me that I like you more than all those little pearly shells. Now those movements are special movements that they do in Hawaii. They do a dance called the hula dance. And all of those movements are what I'm singing about. Let me show you. Here we go. It's pearly shells, make the shells. The ocean, you're rolling the ocean. Spreading on the seashore. Here we go. Pearly shells on the ocean, shining in the sun, just like the itsy bitsy spider, spreading on the sand. When I see them, look for them, my heart tells me that I like you more than all those little pearly shells. Oh, I wanted to show you these pretty shells I have here. They're from different parts of the world. How many of you have actually gone out looking for shells at the beach? Well, Hawaii has a lot of shells. I'm going to turn off my speaker here so I can tell you a little bit more. I'm going to tell you a story from Hawaii, but I bet you really know the story mostly. It's called The 3 Hawaiian Pigs. Yes. Has a little twist in it, but some of the parts I bet you already know. All right. Once there were 3 Hawaiian pigs, and they were starting to become grown-ups. So their mother and their father called them and said, it's time for you to go out into the world and to build your own homes and to find adventure. And they gave each of them a bag of money. And so the 3 pigs went out looking for adventure. Well, they ran across a man selling peely grass. Now, peely grass is really long, silky grass, and it grows in bunches, kind of like hay. Maybe when it dries, it gets dry like hay does. Anyway, people cut it with a special kind of knife, and they sell it so they could weave different things with it. Well, the first little pig saw this peely grass and said, oh, I'm going to build my house out of peely grass. And he went off and started building his house. In fact, he was done building his house in a couple of hours. He could go off and look for some more shells on the beach. Well, the other 2 big pigs kept walking along until they ran across a man who had some driftwood. Now, driftwood are pieces of wood that land in the ocean from trees, maybe that are on the shore or have fallen off of boats, and they stay in the ocean so long they get very light and they change colors. Sometimes they turn white. And people like to use pieces of driftwood and put them on their table and decorate it with flowers and shells. You might have driftwood at home. You can ask your parents, and they can tell you if you have driftwood. Anyway, the second pig wanted to buy some driftwood and build his house out of driftwood. So he built that house, and he was so fast, he was only done in maybe 2 or 3 hours. So he decided to go fishing, since he was right there by the water. Now the third pig wanted to build his house out of something strong. So he looked around, and there was a man selling lava rock. Now, lava is this hot, foamy stuff that comes up out of some mountains, not all mountains. And it's orange and it's yellow and it flows down and people go, ah, the lava, it's a volcano. That's when lava comes out, when there's a volcano, when this hot stuff comes up out of the mountains and runs down. Now, the lava may stay there, and after it cools, it may rain, it may be cool breezes, it gets really hard, and it turns into rock. Well, there was a man selling lava rock, and this third pig said, "Oh, this is perfect." So he bought a lot of lava rock and he started building his house. Now, he was very careful building his house because he wanted it to be really, really strong. So he was building, and after a couple of days, one of his brothers came and said, "Why are you wasting time building that house out of lava rock? You should have used the peely grass or the driftwood, and you'd be done, and we could all go surfing." But that third pig said, "No, I want my house strong." And he took a whole week to build his house. But when he was done, he was ready to go and play with his brothers. He went and got a surfboard. Oh, you know what surfing is. If they get a surfboard and they put it on the ocean and they try to stand on it and balance. Let's stand and pretend we're balancing on a surfboard. Surfing USA. Anyway, he was out surfing with his two brothers, and they were having a great time, and they weren't going to fall. They call that wiping out. But deep underneath them, in the water, was a shark. And the shark looked up, and he saw the three pigs surfing, and he thought, I'd like to eat those pigs. But I can't eat them now. I gotta wait till they fall in the water. But those pigs were too good at surfing. And when they were done, they went over to the shore and they took their surfing boards, and they went to their different houses. Now, the shark had to be really, really clever. So he went home and he put on a really bright colored shirt, kind of like my shirt. And he got a great big block of ice, that big. And he took a sharp thing like a knife and he shaved little pieces off of it and put them in cups. And then he put sweet syrup. He put strawberry syrup in one. He put pineapple syrup in another. He put blueberry syrup in another. Some people call these snow cones. They're kind of like snow cones. But in Hawaii, they call them shaved ice. And the shark was pretending to be a shaved ice boy. So he went to the house of the first little pig who had the peely grass house. And he said, "Shaved ice, I'm selling shaved ice. Who wants shaved ice?" Well, that first little pig said, "Oh, shaved ice, that sounds delicious." And he yelled out the window, "I want some. Let me get some money." So he went to get some money. And then he opened the door. And just as he opened the door, he looked down and he saw the shark's fins. And he yelled out, "Shark!" And he closed the door. And he stood there very afraid. But the shark said, and I bet you know what he said, little pig, let me in." And the pig said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And the shark was just like the wolf. "I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in." And he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew that peely grass house completely down. And that pig ran and ran and ran and ran and ran until he got to his brother's house made of driftwood. And he said, "There's a shark after me, there's a shark." And his brother said, "Don't worry, you're okay with me." But that shark was very smart. He went home and he put on a dress that had lots of flowers, colored flowers on it. In Hawaii, they call that kind of dress a muumuu. And then he got leis. These are leis. They're special necklaces that they have in Hawaii, and they're made of flowers. Now, of course, this isn't really made of flowers. It's made of stuff that looks like flowers. But see, I have orange ones, and I have a lei in my hair as well. and he decided he would be a lady selling lays. So he went right over to the house made of driftwood and said, "Lays for sale, pretty lays for sale." And the two pigs jumped up and down and said, "Oh, we should get some new lays." And so they yelled out the window, "We want to buy some lays. Just wait, we'll get some money." And they went and got their money. But when they opened the door, the shark was bending over to get lays out of her basket, and they saw that shark's fin on the shark's back, and both of the pigs screamed, "A shark!" And they closed the door and locked it. And we know what that shark said. little pig, let me in." And the pig said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin." And the shark said, "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down." And the shark huffed, and he puffed, and he blew that driftwood house down so easily. And the two pigs ran and ran and ran until he got to the house made of lava rock. And the third pig let them in and said, "What's wrong?" "There's a magic shark after us." "A magic shark?" "Yes, he can walk on land and he's trying to fool us." "Don't worry, he can't fool me," said the pig who lived in the lava rock. But that shark went home and he got a funny straw hat, a big sun hat that he put on, and he got a ukulele. That's what this is. This is a ukulele. And he started playing a song. "I met a cow wearing a moo-moo. The color of the moo-moo was yellow and red. And he was playing the ukulele under the Milky Way. And he said, moo, 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 moo. Come on, I'm a beach boy. Let's have a luau out on the beach. Come on, we can play our ukuleles, and we can eat special food, and we can dance and have fun on the beach." Now, a luau is a special picnic. It's a Hawaiian picnic on the beach. And the three pigs thought that was great. They said, "Just a minute, let us get our ukuleles." So they got their ukuleles. Now, this is a ukulele. You see, it's kind of like a guitar, only it's a lot smaller than a guitar. And it's made of wood, and you can play it. You play it with your fingers, just like that shark was doing. But when those pigs got to the door, they looked, and the shark was still singing his song, and he opened his mouth really wide, and the pigs saw rows and rows of sharp teeth, and they all three yelled out, "Shark!" And they closed the door and they locked it. And the shark said, little pig, let me in." And the pig said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And the shark said, "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down." And the shark huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he... But the house was too strong because it was made of that lava rock. So he couldn't blow the house in. So he tried again. He huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he took a deep and he blew so hard, he blew all of the air out of him, and he became flat, just like a balloon. Just flat, just like this piece of paper. And the pigs peeked out of the door, and they saw that the shark was flat, and they rolled him up, just like I'm rolling up this paper. And they took him to the junkyard, and they tossed him into the junkyard. And then they went home, and they decided they were going to have a luau with a real lady who is selling leis, and they all got their leis, and they got their ukuleles, and they ate some shaved ice. They had pineapple, and they had strawberry, and they had raspberry, and they had banana, and then they started singing their song. I met a cow wearing a moo-moo. The color of the moo-moo was pink and blue, and she was playing the ukulele under the Milky Way. And she said moo, 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 moo. Let's see, what color do you want the moo-moo to be that the cow is wearing? Black and white? Okay, let's say it's black and white. I met a cow wearing a moo-moo. The color of the moo-moo was black and white, and she was playing the ukulele under the Milky Way. And she said moo, 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 moo. And so the ukulele is the main instrument that people have heard of from Hawaii. But a lot of people play the ukulele. They play it all over America too. Maybe one day you could get a ukulele. There's ones that's smaller than this one, and there's ones that are bigger than this one. Now, in Hawaii, there is a special word. It is aloha. And that means hello and goodbye. And so now I'm going to say to you, aloha.